Hello and welcome back to another command block tutorial. Today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to become an evoker in Minecraft. And what I mean by that is we're going to, number one, you can see on the left side of my screen, as well as the right, that I have a totem. Since evokers are known for dropping totems, I thought it'd make a little more sense if you got totems on a cooldown. So I'm just going to simulate losing my totem real quick. And you'll see there'll be a countdown, and once I hit the end of that countdown, I'm going to get a totem back for free. The next thing we're going to be able to do is summon in these little row of spikes that you always see the evokers having in. And we'll be able to attack things with it. And finally, we'll be able to summon our own Vex. They're going to attack enemies for us. Alright, so let's get started with the totem aspect. It's actually the simplest of these three things that we're going to be making. It's really only 3 commands. Now, you might be saying, but there's a 4th command right here. That's just to make the scoreboard. It doesn't even need to be in a command block. You can just type this out in your chat bar, and it only needs to be done once. You can type it in a command block if you want to, but you don't have to, so it's up to you. Same thing with any other scoreboard that I've done in the past. Then the 3 commands that we have, number 1, the first one's going to be on a 20 tick delay. The rest of them are not going to be on any delay. This one is going to make it so as long as the player has a totem in their inventory, it's going to set their totem timer to 100. Then, if the player does not have a totem, what we're going to do is we're going to remove 1 from their totem count. The way that we're checking that the player does not have a totem is we're using has item with the item and the quantity of 0. You guys were just paying attention, it just popped up in my left hand. And then we're just going to be removing 1 totem. And finally, once the totem counter is 0 or less than 0, it's just going to simply replace my offhand slot with a totem. And we have this word keep here, in case I have like a shield or something else in my offhand, it's not going to delete it. And that's it, and that basically gives you the full, like a totem of undying for free, just on a simple cooldown. If you want to change the cooldown, just go to this one. I have it set to 100, so that is 100 seconds. So that's like basically a little over a minute and a half. The number here is the number of seconds. If you want more, make it a bigger number. If you want less, make it a smaller number. Pretty simple stuff. But that's it for the regenerating totem. Next up is probably the most complicated part, which is the Vex. So what we're doing is we're saying, if I have a cyan die and I sneak, it's going to make a Vex above me. Simple as that. So that is what these 3 commands are. These 3 commands are what make the Vex actually attack other mobs like this. And of course, as per usual with all of my damage commands, you'll be able to change the damage value to anything you want it to be. But for now, let's get into the actual commands. Starting off, what we're going to be doing is checking if the player has cyan die in their main hand, and they don't have the tag vexed. That's how we make it only happen once per every time you sneak, and I'll get into that in a second. Then we're going to do this sneak detection thing right here, which I have a whole tutorial on if you haven't seen this before, but if you've seen any of my other videos, you may have seen this already. Basically, we're checking if the player is sneaking here, and if they are, we're going to summon a Vex above their head. Then we're going to be doing basically the same command, except instead of summoning a Vex, we're going to be giving the player the tag Vexed. That way they're not summoning multiple Vex every time they sneak. And this is the opposite command, so we're just checking if the player is not sneaking and they already have the tag Vexed, go ahead and remove it. So that's what's actually summoning it in. So now we just need to make it so it doesn't really attack us, and it will attack bad guys. So the first part that we're doing is we're making it so that if the thing named Vexed is within 3 blocks of a player, it's just going to freeze in place. And you might be wondering why that is, but I will give you a quick demonstration if I summon one of these Vex in. Because it's still a normal Vex, he's still gonna want to attack me. So we're just going to give him a second to be aggressive here. Boom, he can't. It's that simple. If I back away, he might try to chase me, but he can't. Simple as that. That's mostly going to be if there's no other monsters around for it to attack, but this is so you don't get attacked by your own Vex. Oops. Alright, then we're going to be teleporting the thing forward. This is going to basically point it towards whatever monster we're trying to kill. It's pretty simple. And then very similarly, we're checking at the vex for any monster within 1.3 blocks. If so, go ahead and damage it. The damage number right here is 5. More damage to make this a higher number, less damage to make it a lower number. Pretty self-explanatory. And it's just going to be blaming the vex itself for the entity attack, so that mobs are going to be trying to attack the vex back. That's all you need for the custom, basically allied vex. And finally, we have the actual spike attack, which does seem like a lot of commands, but it's only so we can have multiple of these spikes going off at the same time. It's really pretty much the same command repeated multiple times. So what we're doing here is we're checking, and I know this does seem like a lot, because it kind of is, because the sneak detection isn't the easiest thing to type out, but it's not as complicated as it seems, and we're just repeating the same command over and over again. Basically what we're doing, we're checking out the has item if the player is holding a tripwire hook and it's in their main hand and they don't have the tag spiked. We're doing the sneak detection here, which is what this is. Then we are summoning an evocation fang, which is what the spikes are called. It's a really long name, but that's what they're called. Just in front of the player's face. Now if we go up to the next command, it's exactly the same command. Literally the only difference is this 2. It used to be a 1, now it's a 2. Go up another command. Oh, look, it's 3. It's 3 instead of 2. You're not gonna guess what comes next. It's 4. That's right. Now, I know I've set kind of a precedent in the patterns of just counting up in numbers, but I promise you're not gonna be ready for what's coming in the next one. That's right, 5. Alright, now we're basically just gonna make it so the player gets a tag once they activate this, so that way it only activates once every time they sneak. Pretty much the same thing as what we did with the vex. We're basically checking if the player's holding tripwire hook and they're sneaking, then go ahead and add the tag spiked. Simple as that. And then we're doing the opposite thing to remove it. So basically, if the player has the tag spiked already and they're not sneaking, remove it. So that's simple. And that way it summons one full row every single time, and then resets every time I stand straight up. And that's about it. Now you guys have learned how with just a few simple commands, you can turn yourself into an evoker in Minecraft. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, but I highly recommend joining our Discord. The link will be in the description. And other than that,